Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dozer. And if you're new to the show, the goal here is to educate our audience about the truth of online marketing while providing valuable, actionable advice while exposing the quacks and gimmicks that this industry is full of right now. Today, I want to welcome a very special guest, Dom Jackson. Dom is the founder of Day by Day Media, specializing in content creation, mostly through video. Dom, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ryan, it's a pleasure to be on here, man. Definitely ready to expose the quacks.
Yeah. That's what we're here for. So the first thing, Dom, I want to go into is kind of who you are, what you do, and what's your experience in content creation, and where are you at right now?
Cool beans, man. So like I said, my name is Dom Jackson. I was originally in the fitness industry. I was a personal trainer for 6 years. I was like a mom and pop trainer, so I would help you out with the industrial athletes, your teacher, accountant, doctor, whatever you are, the people that want to stay in shape without having to be training for a specific sport, just sit in your day by day life, staying in shape. So I was one of those trainers for 6 years. Pandemic came, couldn't work out in gyms, couldn't train in gyms. A very rough time for the fitness industry. And during that time, I was like, I don't really like how this feels right now. I have a lot of issues with the way things are going. So I decided at that point, during that time, I was already making my own content. I had a fitness podcast, had a motivational podcast. I was doing squat videos, push-up videos, your macros, all the things that you do inside the fitness space. And I was like, I already had all these skills on how to make these things, blog posts, video editing, all these things I learned in the process of getting there. So I was like, you know what? Instead of growing people's muscles, I can grow people's businesses, grow their through agency, growing their stuff online. And, one of the biggest things that I try to encourage people to understand fitness-wise is that it takes time to get there. You have to do it day by day. And I was like, that same principle of going, yes, the same consistency of going day by day for your body is the same thing going to take to go for your brand. So that's where I did start my business in 2022. So I've been a year in business, had a lot of clients, a lot of different things. It's been a very fun venture. I ended up doing, because I realized one thing that, you coming in like, all right, I know how to do this now. But when people come in requesting things to be done, it's like, oh, you want to have some skill set in certain platforms more than others. So I've been investing more time in my clients' YouTube channels. And now I'm getting ready to launch my YouTube channel in 2024 to have things, ready to take on the new year. So it's been a great process. Yeah. I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited to talk about YouTube more in this episode. We talked a little bit before the show. I actually dove really in the weeds of YouTube this year, and I've grown a channel to almost 7K subs already and just getting millions and millions of views, and I've really learned a lot. I feel like I'm almost late to YouTube in 2023 into 2024, but I don't know, man. YouTube is still a very effective platform if used correctly.
Yeah, it's a staple, man. Before all the other platforms even really were established, YouTube is still number one. And it has kept innovating and growing each time with everything else, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, it's the second largest search engine on the internet behind Google. And also, too, it's the voice element. So instead of someone reading an article and they're going through something, if they hear my voice or see my face, there's a trust factor there, too. And people are more willing to trust you in a video format versus a blog post. That's just a few things that I've learned already. So kind of let's talk about your business a little bit. Why should a business or individual work with you? What's your selling point over, there's a million content creators, there's a million content agencies out there, right? So what's your selling point of you versus them?
My biggest thing for why you should work with me is that, I rarely like to use people's stories because I'm really big on personal brands, being from the fitness space that overall was kind of like, the fitness space on its bad side is a little douchey, shirtless selfies all the time, which, could be working in certain industries. But there's a level of, understanding your story and actually practicing what you preach that I think really resonates with the founder and really resonates with a lot of audiences as well. Like we were saying before, having the video, getting that trust factor in there and finding what parts of the story about you make you is something I really believe in people like knowing about to sell themselves better. I watch a lot of stuff from like Gary Vaynerchuk. He's another big guy in the space, and he's similar to him in the sense that like you can use your own things you are interested in to add to the value of what you bring to your audience. And I'm in that same boat. So, like I said, I was in fitness for a while, but I watch a lot of anime too. Like I'm a big One Piece fan. There's a lot of things out there that you might have that inside of you that may not be the exact thing you do with your business. So what I do is help you understand your story of like where you've been, things that happened to you in your life, but then also some other things you're interested in too as well. That like, I might really like trail mix, or like, I'm a big Eagles fan. There's a lot of things out there that you might pivot into from just one little story here that someone might become a future customer with you for. So what we do is, take it day by day, but we help you find the most marketable version of you.
So you strategize, right? Because there's a lot of content creators, and this is one of the biggest flaws that I see a lot is people just post content to post content. There's zero strategy out there. They're just like post videos, post social media, post this and that, 5 posts a day, but yet there's zero strategy. So that's what you're saying right now too, is that you help with the strategy behind the content, right?
Absolutely. Strategy is everything.
Correct. So let's talk about AI a little bit. I'm a big AI guy. I got my own AI YouTube channel. Talk about AI in the content creation space. Have you leveraged it at all for what you're doing? Has AI disrupted content creators? Just what are your thoughts on AI and content creation?
AI is coming to change the game. Like it is one of the things that I'm paying a lot of attention to. I'm looking at like websites like Munch. There's a lot of different things out there you can use for the AI editing space. It currently is I think it's going to really just, like, the whole industry is going to be completely commoditized unless you're very much like a super specialist almost. Like if you're doing like the YouTube videos for like the biggest ones in the space, like I think Mr. Beast's editor is probably going to have a while before he gets, taken out by AI.
For sure. Yeah.
But, there's just from what I've been experimenting with myself, because my goal was to really have that be ahead of the curve, because that's really what I've been doing mostly video editing wise. Like for instance, there's an app called the Captions app. And I've watched that app progress from just like being an app you put captions on to the point now you can put in a still shot of a video like we have right now, and it will do the captions and do like the zoom in and zoom outs and add like the B-roll to the footage as well, just from you hitting a couple buttons. So I'm like, wow, if this app's already able to do this, I can't imagine what the desktop ones are going to be able to do in the future. I'm also a big Adobe guy. That's one of my biggest softwares that I use. They just really updated their text editing software, so that's a really big one you can do.
I use that all the time.
It is amazing, bro. It's like why did this happen sooner? So on the content creation side, AI is coming in.
AI's already here, bro. Let's talk about some tools a little bit. You just mentioned the one that you use. I use Opus Clip actually for this podcast and several other long form pieces of content that I do. Have you dabbled in like Opus Clip? I think it was the same functionality as the tool you were talking about, where it takes a long form video and in a matter of 10 minutes creates 20 short form clips, adds the engaging subtitles, reformats it in the mobile format, has the auto scheduler where I can connect my YouTube shorts, my Instagram, my TikTok, and just post it from there. So in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes, I have 20 clips and I can then post it massively across my socials, where, as you know before, that's an multiple hour long process to do that, right?
It is. I have not used Opus, but that's one of the ones I plan on looking at too. I always try to dabble in one each time to find a new one to kind of play with, because like I said, it's coming for everything, and it's really, really coming to dominate the content space. Some other tools that I use something called it is ID Studio DID. Is one of the ones that you can use.
Oh, is that the Avatar?
Yes, the Avatar one. That one's
okay.
Really good
for
people that are like faceless channels. They can basically, you can put up a picture, a still shot, and make that into an avatar that you can use, and they have like the ability to make it talk. It was a little creepy at first, but as it gets better, it's like, oh shoot, you're just basically watching more or less a cartoon version of yourself talk. So there's a lot of great options. It is here, and it's going to be even better. The next phase is going to be, who can use that AI the best to make the content the best. So it's not going to be as much the creation, but more the curation and like the I guess the leading of the automation of things. So like, it's here, it's coming, and I would definitely, if you do simple stuff, I would suggest you learn how to get to that next wave and ride it up to the top, because it's going to be a very interesting time. One thing that I also want to talk about too, at this time point, because 2024 is literally like a week away, and I think one of my predictions this year is that with the presidential election coming up, deep fakes are going to finally hit the mainstream. Like, I think this is because, like, I feel like if you're in the space, about them. Like, yeah, deep fakes.
I've been talking about this for months now, bro.
It's like, and like, I'm like excited because like I kind of know it's a big deal, it's going to happen, but also like, this is like the real, like, oh shoot, like it's going to be a real deal when people are doing all the, like, when people that are running for office or doing these in these high positions are getting their fake videos out, and people are like, oh, this is real. So we're going to see the next like dark phase of the internet coming out.
I'll tell you this. I don't know if you heard about this one, but there was a deepfake situation, I think March of 23, somewhere around that time frame, where someone created a deepfake video. I think it might have been an image too of the Pentagon blowing up. And you might think, well, that's kind of funny. That's stupid. Why would someone do that? Well, the stock market tanked 5% in a matter of 2 hours. Because do you know how this works, right? The bots like look at all these headlines that these articles are posting, and they buy and sell based on headlines and what's in the news. So this video or this picture of the Pentagon exploding went viral, caused the stock market to collapse. And you may think, well, that's not a big deal. Well, if you're on the verge of retirement, age 65, and you're like maybe a week away from retirement, and you see this huge thing and the markets go down, you're like, what the hell? So deepfakes are a really big issue. And I'm glad you brought up the political thing too, because think about on social media, if someone made a deepfake Trump, a deepfake Biden, whoever the candidate is, and it's not real and it goes viral, the average person, especially older, that doesn't understand this technology, they're going to see that and think, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. And they're going to share it and tell their friends. I mean, it's a very, very dangerous technology that people don't fully understand.
It really is, man. It really is. So now it's like, whoever the people standing, I guess, on the good side of the technology, it's like the battle of the good side. What's the Star Wars? The Sith and the Jedi.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your biggest wins, Dom. Whether it's through content creation. I don't know if you had any posts that went viral or videos that went viral, just client wins, could be anything. Just talk about some of your biggest wins so far.
Cool. I think one of the biggest things that I ever did content-wise that I helped one of my clients get from 0 to 1,000 subs in about 60 days. So that was a pretty cool turnout for a credit type of channel. So it wasn't like something that was super engaging and super enticing, just like a very much business 101 thing. And it started off as a faceless channel too. And that's before I had the AI technology too. So it was just like basically talking words, B-roll, sound effects, and just good information being conveyed on there. So,
and I want to pause you right there where you said the 1,000 subs. So I actually talked about this in a recent post where getting your first 1,000 subs is a grind. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Getting your first 1,000, like, first of all, if someone goes to your video and they see you have less than 1,000, you lose credibility instantly. That's just the average person seeing it from the eyes of a viewer, right? And also the algorithm tends to favor you once you hit that 1,000 sub mark too. So I just wanted to pause you and commend you for that, because that's a pretty big feat. And I know how difficult it is to get those first 1,000 subs on YouTube.
Yeah, bro, that 1,000 mark is like, is a battle, and they shrunk it to 5,000 too, to 500 for the monetization on YouTube. On a side note, but yeah, that first one is a grind, bro. It really is. It really is. I've also had some of my videos, some of my client videos go viral on TikTok. So that's been pretty cool. Like my biggest one got like 500,000 views, which is like impressive, But out of TikTok numbers, one of the things I definitely like. I've helped some other clients get like basically like a lot of aesthetic content plans too, because I feel like a lot of people don't really know what like their strengths are either. So helping people really understand where they are, whether it be as a trainer or like as a real estate agent or as a podcaster, there's a lot of different levels to where you can kind of take yourself and understanding where you are. One thing I can tell people all the time is that, you can be like super charismatic, like, like The Rock, but then also like you can be like the clear eyes guy from back in the day. He was boring as hell, but he was super viral and super impactful. So I think that's one of the biggest things of helping people understand where they are in the spectrum and what way is the best way they can be. What's the best way they can use their natural talents to show themselves online authentically.
For sure. So let's transition to one of my favorite segments of the show where we get into quacks. So define a quack in your industry. What are some of the tricks and gimmicks that people do in the content creation space to get quick results?
One of the biggest things that people do, obviously there's the clickbait thumbnails, which is like pretty standard now.
Oh, this one?
There's the putting someone else's face in the beginning of the video that's more known, but they're not talking about that person at all, like Kim Kardashian. And today I had right, you know what I mean? There's a lot of
the hooks.
The hooks are the greatest thing, but then like hooks that don't have any. The hooks are great, but hooks that are like super misleading, I'm always kind of like, all right, bro, like I get it.
I'm gonna expose Alex Hormozy. I'm gonna expose Grant Cardone, and like, they don't actually
don't even talk about like not even the video. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like there's a lot of those out there that I understand but don't support, and then being from like the fitness space, top 5 green teas to burn 30 pounds in 3 days is like that's not even healthy, dude. Like, you don't want to do this kind of thing. So there's a lot of quacks in the space that I'm super like not about. I don't know what I would name specifically right now. Just
don't say any names. Don't say any names. For sure. I'm glad you brought up the thumbnails. And like, admittedly, I've learned that putting my face, a PNG crop version of my face, like pointing or doing this, like it increases views and click-through rate tremendously. I don't know if you've seen the exact results on the content stuff that you work with, but that's one tip that I've noticed.
Yes. The face is definitely a big factor on it. As a whole, because we're people just like seeing people more, and I've definitely seen that
trust factor
100%. Like, and if it's the same face that's on the thumbnail, because if you have guests every time on your show and they're not big guests, it's better to have you and them be small, just release the same thing consistency wise on that side until you get someone who's like more known. But yes, that's definitely one of the biggest things. Another big thing that on the YouTube side, I feel like more people need to pay attention to is the correlation between the thumbnail and the first 30 seconds. Because even when you scroll on YouTube now, they start showing you some of the video before you even do it. So one thing that people need to do more now that I've seen that I'm putting into my video and contents now is that you want to have that first video, that first 5 to 10 seconds of the video, mainly the first 5 seconds, match the thumbnail as far as like the cadence, the coloring, even what you say. Like if you're talking about how to grow a YouTube channel in 2024, you want to be saying something along about YouTube channel's growth in 2024 all in that first 5 seconds, just to immediately give the feedback loop of like, wow, okay, I'm in the right spot. I'm getting what I signed up for. I didn't sign up for, Alex Hermosi's truth and then nothing happened. So
Yeah, I think that's a big trend that we're going to start seeing more, especially as our attention spans get even worse. Our attention spans are bad right now, but the hook is the thumbnail and the hook is really everything. I think most people, let's talk about this for a second. I think most people focus more on the meat of the actual videos that they're creating, 100%. And they try to perfect it and edit it and get the meat of the video correct. But you know this, I'm going to be completely honest. The thumbnail, the hook, the tags, the title, that is way more important than the actual meat of the video, because if people, one, don't find you, they'll never watch your video. And two, if people see you but don't click, whether you're in the search results for a thumbnail, they won't get to your video either. So spend more time on the thumbnail and the actual optimization of your content versus the meat of the content. I think that's something that people mess up all the time.
100%. That is definitely like the 80-20. The 80 definitely needs to be in that introduction. And everything else, I will obviously want everything to be well, but you have to. If you don't get them in, then nothing else happens. The hook is everything. So that thumbnail and title and SEO is everything to get that first part of that video rocking and rolling.
For sure. Yeah, people don't think about SEO when it comes to YouTube, but it's a huge, huge deal. So on that note, Dom, appreciate you having on. What are some final notes that you have for the viewers or audience listening about content creation, AI, just anything that we discussed here that could help them moving forward?
I think the biggest takeaway I think that they can do doing forward is definitely if you're going into YouTube, one, really spend time looking at that thumbnail title it's everything. Well, the idea first. So the idea of the video, thumbnail and title, then everything else. Because that way, the first part's already done. And then one of the things I've been doing just from all my experience with my clients is the 3 things that you want to start checking on your video, from my opinion, is one, the click-through rate of the thumbnail. So that's how you know how successful your thumbnail and title is. Like I just said, that 80%. You want to see how high that is. Then you want to check how that first 30 seconds is retention-wise. So people staying to watch that first 30 seconds. That's 2. And then 3, you want to see the average view duration. So how long someone's watching that video on average. And I think a lot of people, as long as you understand those principles that I just said, listing those out, you'll be successful on YouTube regardless, because it's going to be hard enough to figure it out. But as long as you know what to track, you can see if you're making progress or not. And you can just take it day by day.
For sure. I love that. That's great advice. So Dom, where can people find you if they want to find more advice like what you just talked about, or maybe potentially become a client? Where can people find you on the internet?
Cool beans. So you can follow my YouTube channel is at Day by Day Media on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at DomJackson747. But just either my YouTube channel or Instagram. I think the Instagram one might be easier to find because my SEO is still not there yet for new channels. So you know what? Go to my Instagram, DomJackson747, and the YouTube's inside the bio link.
I'll link to everything in the show notes and everything, and on my personal stuff. And I show all the clips. I got you, bro. I got you.
I appreciate
it. So that's it, guys. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode, and I hope you all have a great day.
Take care.